Thought I could count on you. I thought we had a deal. I gave you all I had. Put you in front of friends. It was me and you. For it was one of them. I introduced you to them. I should have seen it then. It was never about me. It's what I could do for you. What you could get about me. Who I could introduce you to. I knew the truth. Still there was nothing I would do for you. A fool for you. You break my legs. Still jump through hoops for you. I thought we had a deal. 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 It's hard to let you go when I'm still holding on. Said I should leave you, I don't need you, should be moving on. This shit is stupid hard, and I ain't ready for it. Said I should leave you, I don't need you, I ain't ready for it. They weren't there for it, no, they weren't there, were they? They weren't there when she despaired to have her prayers working. She wanted to die daily, and I was 9 maybe. I'm on the couch with mom, talking about don't cry, baby. We'll be alright, baby. Yeah, we gon' make it through. I'm scared to death inside, but I know I can't let it through. I ain't know where to turn, I didn't know what to do. You gave me hope when there was none. I owe my life to you. I thought we had a deal.
Leave me not ready to let you go. Let you go. I'm begging, don't leave me. Take anything you want, everything if you want it.
You gave my life purpose before it had any. You gave me courage when I didn't have any. We were the best of friends before I had any. I gave you all I had. You turned your back to me. You set a trap for me. I never seen it coming. You had me blind to if I didn't want to feel you numb it. You left my life a wreck, and I hate you for it. I'm still in love with you, and I hate you for it.
What's up, my people? Welcome to St. John Live on this Monday night. My name is Mike St. John. I am in long-term recovery. My sobriety date's June the 1st, 2016. Only by the grace of God. How are y'all doing? I'm back. I was out a couple weeks, man. My wife just got over COVID, so we took a little time out. But yeah, grateful to be here, man. We got an awesome show tonight. Got an awesome guest, man. He's one of my friends from way back, like 2 seats on a Cadillac, 2 flats on a Cadillac, man. Got the beep button going tonight, but just grateful to be here, man. Let us know where you're watching from. Post your sobriety clean dates. I'm going to get mine in here, Richmond, Kentucky. But yeah, grateful to be here. I'm going to give a shout out here to my page sponsors. One Stop Phone Shop out of London, Kentucky, 606-657-2750. Josh Maxey and Darrell Hudson. All your electronic needs. They just opened up a new store down in Corbin, Kentucky, my hometown. GetLive.com, Adam Larkin. He's got an event coming up here next month at North Laurel High School. He's out there on the feet, man. He's running the ground, man. He's got a powerful event coming up. Jasmine's House Recovery Home for Women, 859-319-4787, 859-300-1503. Yeah, just grateful to be here, man. You know, being free today. You know, it's what recovery's about for me, man, being free. Living life to the fullest, man. We've had some huge doors opening. Just done another interview with Richmond Register Paper. It'll be out tomorrow. And shout out to my wife, Marie St. John. I got to give her a shout out, man. She is the boss behind this. She's the brains behind St. John Live. I'm just the face and the voice, you know what I'm saying? But we're free today, man. And, you know, it's all about helping others. But I'm going to give a shout out to the comments here before we get started. Andrew Morrow, I see you, big dog. Lisa Marie Reed, always in here. Out of Indiana, Teresa Henry, Emily Highsclope. If y'all missed her testimony here, go back 2 weeks prior to today and check out her powerful testimony, man. We cried that night, and it's pretty awesome. I got a Facebook user, I don't know who it is, says St. John Whoop Whoop. I think it's Chuck Brothers, Tracy L. Markham, Aaron Heath, I see you, Moine, Brittany Clemens, Rob Fields, Papa Smurfs in the house, Protea Strong. Yeah, Protea Behavioral Health Counseling, man. They're doing some amazing things, man. It's just the new. I can't put a word on it, man. These people are just down to earth people, willing to help people, man. And when you find certain people in your life, they become family, and they're part of our family. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing people. I see you, David Eggers, old egghead. What up, boy? Maram Addington in here. Stephen Kidwell, I see you, bub. Let's see who else we got in here. Joseph Hatton, I see you. That's my man. Joseph is my right hand man. He opened up the doors here for what I do inside Madison County Detention Center on Thursday nights. Been going over a year strong. Caitlin Robinson, Richmond, Kentucky, 33 months. We got Brooks Bentley. Jasmine's house is here. Awesome. Welcome, girls. We're not going to sign no meeting sheets for this, huh? I'm just messing with y'all. Hope y'all enjoy, man. Hope you get a hope shot, man, because tonight is a powerful hope shot. Paul Martinez, what up, St. John Recovery family, all the way from Washington. Just hit 3 years, 2 months, 6 days. Proud of you, Paul. Cornelio Escobedo, my man. Back in 2016, that dude saved me one day in the cafeteria. You hear me? We won't get into that, but Cornelia, I always mention your name in that story. Joanne Faulkner, watching from, is that California, Joanne? Cape Breton, California. That's powerful, man. All the way to California. Hit that share button one time for us. Let's help somebody. Teresa Henry from Somerset. Angela Burns from London, living in Lexington. There is my other peer support, my wife said. Cameron Arnold, I see you, big dog. I just got done eating McDonald's, Rob. Be quiet. Oxford House is in here. Sally Devine, welcome. Robert Ladnier, welcome. Goober friends in the house. That's what I'm talking about. John Hall, I see you. Boy, we got 60 people on here right now. Hit that share button if y'all don't care. We got a lot of people out there struggling, man. People's ODing, people's dying, people's in the hospital. Man, let's get this out. Amy Fields, I see you. Got them purple hearts flying. Terry Rust, I see you. Welcome. Shane Wagers, I see you. I don't know who this Facebook user is, 111321. I'm so blessed. Listen, you're just getting started. Whoever that is, stay in position, and the rewards are coming. Joshua Allen, Restoration on the Rock. Teresa Henry. Emily says we bleed purple. Let's see. Anthony French. I got my phone blowing up here too. Stephen Sowers, 123119. We're going to get this Irvin Southwood. Natasha, welcome y'all. Christopher Henson. But yeah, we're going to get this started. Our guest tonight, man, it's Gordy. I met Gordy back when he came through the Hope Center. I'll tell his story. I'll break his anonymity. I don't care. This dude was a mess, man. And if you saw my post today, his before and after, I wouldn't loan him $1. You hear me? I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw a baseball bat. But, today his audio matches his video, man. And he's out here helping people, man. He gives me suggestions, man. He opened up a huge door for me. My phone's blown. But anyway, I'm gonna bring him on here, man. Let's welcome Gordy on here. What up, Gordy W?
What up, Mike?
What's happening, big dog, huh?
Living a dream, buddy.
Living the dream. Where you at right now, boy?
I'm in Somerset. It's me and my little gay dog.
You got you a dog. You mean you're in a house?
Yeah.
Boy, hey, that before picture, hey, Bo, hey, huh?
Oh, I don't live here. It's somebody else's house. They're not home.
Oh, you're just borrowing their laptop, right?
They left the door unlocked.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I live here.
What's happening, big guy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, like I said, living the dream. Wake up every morning and love what you do. Is it work? I do more work trying to find something to do when I'm off work than I do when I'm at work.
You better be careful. Your boss is on here.
Yeah, they know what they mean.
But anyway, what's happening, man? How's your day going?
Good. A little stressful, but good.
A little stressful.
As Rob says, I live in controlled chaos.
Well, yeah, don't we all, huh?
Yeah.
But Gordy, just kind of let's hear a little bit of your story, man. Like I've heard your story before, but you got an amazing story, and I named this tonight, turning your mess into a message, because you was a complete mess. How many years ago?
September 21st, 2017. I got dropped off at that miserable Jacob's house first day.
Yeah.
Kicking
When,
dope when I got there.
hey, is that when you met me?
No, I didn't have my dislike for you till somewhere in 360 when you were sharing. Yeah, about because you and Brad. It's funny. I'll bring that up real quick. You and Brad, I didn't like you two. I thought you guys were full of shit. Thought you were arrogant. Didn't believe anything you said. Definitely didn't believe you were sober. I just thought, that's just what you were saying. And yeah, I had a friend pass away. I just completed the program. I was at a meeting. I had a friend pass away from an overdose, and they found him in a hotel room. The door was open, which means somebody left him. And we still don't know who it was. And I didn't want to go back. I wanted to go to his layout, but I was afraid that I'd be judged and I'd be wrong around. His family knew I partied with them, and yeah, you and Brad stepped up at the end of the meeting, and I had nothing but bad things to say about you for 6 months. And you guys were like, "We'll take you." You guys drove me up there. You walked me around the funeral home. Big tattooed ass fucking thug looking guys. And then you guys took me back, and made me feel like a dick a little bit, but yeah, but it kind of opened my eyes to what recovery is all about.
We was your private security, right?
Yeah, kind of. I'll never forget it. I was sitting in the back seat. Y'all were driving that CTS, that Cadillac CTS, and you and Brad bickering about whatever y'all bicker about, food or whatever it is. And I was sitting in the back seat, just felt horrible. Because I did nothing but go in my room. Me and Pickett's probably on here, and just badmouth you.
No.
Yeah.
Have you ever made amends to me over that, bro?
Hell no. Yeah, I made you amends. Look at the sign behind you.
All right, let's get to your story, Gordy. I want to hear about what it used to be like, bro.
Well, grew up in a great home, professional golfer for a father, accountant for a mother, had two of everything, weren't rich, but we were extremely comfortable. Mom and dad always had new cars. I always had school clothes. It was sky's the limit. Never got $10 a day for lunch, which eventually turned into a half quarter every 2 days, but got $10 a day for lunch. And, son was missing. I remember the first time I ever drank, I was in 4th grade. I don't really link that much to alcoholism though, because I know what I was doing and I just got drunk and got sick. So I don't really link that to my story, but I do know that when I got into junior high school, I learned real quick that, if you had, all of a sudden I had friends, if I had weed, like I said, I got $10 a day for lunch. And back then, half quarter, $15. So every other day I could buy half quarter. I noticed my phone rang when I had weed and my phone would stop ringing when I didn't have weed. So I made sure I had weed. And, so I kind of went with the wrong crowd. I was a really good golfer in high school, but golf wasn't cool yet. Tiger Woods was 2 years behind me. So, golf was basically an announcement at the beginning of school, or the end of school, just with band and other shit. It was basically football and baseball, that kind of stuff. So I veered away from golf because it wasn't cool enough. I got lucky, got into the casino business when I was 21. I was 20 years old. I went to dealer school at Argosy and, back with the SS Minnow in Indiana. And I started working there. And what happened was all these people came from all these other casino towns, Vegas, Atlantic City, Biloxi, Tunica, all these places. And they didn't have the drugs of choice there were pain pills. And this is way before Casper. The drugs of choice were pain pills and cocaine, because you could do cocaine on a Friday, you'd be clean on Monday. And then back then, if you just had an old script of Vicodin, it would clear you on a drug test. I just took my last 7 years ago. You know what I mean? So I was running drugs for all these casino managers. I didn't really mess with them much. I mean, I did a little cocaine, but I didn't really mess with the pain pills much. I just smoked a lot of weed. And I ate a hamburger there at the casino and had a piece of glass in it, ripped a hole in my esophagus. I went to the hospital and they gave me intravenous Demerol. I'd found my new love. I found what I've been searching for my whole life, besides the burning sensation in your butthole first time you get intravenous Demerol. Then I remember got out of the hospital. I asked one of the pit bosses, big Italian dude named Lou. I ain't gonna put him on blast, but he looked just straight like he's straight out of the mafia. He wasn't. He's a big sissy, but that's how he looked. I asked him what that drug was, and he's like, "Oh, that's what you've been getting us this whole time." So I started eating, started with 1 or 2 Percocets. Then it got to the point where I was eating 10 of them, going from game to game, without water, just chewing them up. And and then that eventually led to oxys. I'm sure there's plenty of people on here that are well familiar with the old oxy problem. My mom still probably has curtains in her house that got the stain from the fucking time release being wiped off. I know I got socks probably still somewhere has that stain on there. Anyway, ended up losing a job because of attendance, because couldn't work dope sick. It was horrible. Lost a job, went to the methadone clinic, did all right with that. I mean, I just wasn't working no kind of program. I just, I was legally getting high basically. And I got kicked out of there for some shit that probably wasn't my fault. Just kidding. It was definitely my fault. And I moved out to California. I got off the methadone. I moved out to California because, that's a solution to our problems is leave.
Right.
So I went out to Palm Springs, still was on the marijuana maintenance program. And I did good out in California until I got into a car wreck. And then the doctor wrote me a script for some Percocets in this car wreck I was in. And of course the bottle said, take one every 6 hours, but I took 6 every 1 hour because my name was on the bottle. So I was allowed to. So I got first time I ever used a needle was out there with meth. So I come back from California, strung out again, lost my job there. I came back to Cincinnati to work at Jack's when Jack's opened in Cincinnati. At this time I was doing heroin and I caught a felony, went to the Cintas Center for the job fair, got the job. But I caught a felony in between the time they hired me and the time of the job fair. So the casino career was dead. It was gone now because you can't even have a petty theft on your record in a casino. Wow. And then off to the races I went, the typical, stole from everybody, stole my mom's retirement twice. My mom didn't retire until she was 85 years old because I kept stealing her retirement, My dad was blind. He only had one eye and he only had 5% vision in the other one. So one of the first times I ever felt real guilt, shame, and remorse is I would steal his pain pills and I would replace them with whatever I could find in the store that would look like them. And I remember sitting at the house one time late at night. My dad was dope sick, but he didn't know it. He thought that this is an 83-year-old man. He thought that what he was feeling was the symptoms of his ailments, not that he didn't have his pills. So I really felt bad. It was so bad I almost sprinkled heroin in his milk so he would feel better, but I didn't. Anyway, my dad always, by this point, my mom, I have a daughter. She's 26 now, and basically I had custody of her whole life, but I really didn't. I was kind of the sick big brother that lived in the basement because my mom allowed me to live there just because she could have my daughter if I lived there. So she and my daughter's seen my daughter could have seen a lot worse, but she's seen me do some, like I let her drive home once from over the Rhine because I was not out the wheel. She was 11. At 2 o'clock in the morning, took my daughter to the projects to get dope 2 o'clock in the morning, and she was driving. So she loved it. She didn't realize what I was doing. So mom pretty much gave up on me, just kind of disowned me, but she had me living in Covington paying, $80 a week in a apartment that I shared with roaches and bed bugs, but they didn't pay rent. So I was like her dirty little secret because my brother and my sisters pretty much said, if you don't cut him out of your life, we're not going to talk to you anymore. So I was like her dirty little secret in Covington. She paid my rent. And eventually, of course, she was giving me the money to give to the landlord. So you obviously know I didn't pay my rent. So I started getting in and out of jails constantly. I mean, I used to have my mug shots wrapped around my office, but Terry made me take them down. I had them all around the roof of my office, but I kept going in and out of jail, and mom gave up on me. My dad got sick. He was in a nursing home, and he had to get put on dialysis daily, and he refused it. He didn't want dialysis. And I remember I was on paper at the time, and the doctor said, he'll live at least 4 more months. Well, I did 10 months on house arrest, and you're eligible for, I had a 3-year sentence and you're parole eligible after 4 months. So I figure I done 10 months on house arrest. He's going to live 3 more months. I'll be okay. So I got high. I failed my drug test. I got sent to jail. My mom called me 3 days after I got to jail, and I knew it was bad because the guards don't tell you have a phone call, but the guards gave me the phone, and my mom said, your dad's dead. And she hung up the phone. Found out later on that the last conversation my mom and my dad had asked my mom to give me one more chance. This is that chance, by the way. And yeah, so they let me out for a 4-hour furlough to go to his wake. And I remember going to his wake. And this is how selfish and self-centered us alcoholics are. I remember going to his wake, and because I was, I had the ankle monitor on, and I thought everybody was judging me. Everybody, oh, who are these people? Not really. Nobody gave a fuck that I was there. Nobody cared. They were there to see my dad. They didn't, but I made it all about me, of course. And then I was more concerned about packing my prison wallet full of dope to go back to the jail than I was about paying respects to my dad. So I did that. 30 hits of acid, 20 clonopins, 20 methadones, went back to the jail. And funny story, how my luck is I get back to the jail and I front it all out to a trustee. He's going to pay me in the morning, right? I got shipped out at 5 a.m. Didn't get none of my money from my drugs. Yeah, good thing too, because apparently the word of the wise, don't do acid in jail. Anyway, so I got MRS'd, and I got MRS'd. I had a friend of mine. She still denies it, but I thank her for it. I don't know if it's truth or not, but supposedly someone called my PO and said that I was slinging dope, and I got locked up. I had 6 months left to serve. And when I got MRS for 6 months, after 3 months, they called me in for a drug test and I failed it. They sent me to jail. This was September 21st, 2017. They locked me up. That's the mugshot you see. I think that's the one you see. And I was supposed to go to a 30-day drogie house in Dayton, Kentucky. I signed the papers. I just went out of jail. I'll take a bed. And my PO, first amends I made, besides my mom, first amends I made was my PO. She came and showed up at the jail. She scratched out. She'd been my PO before. She scratched out the drogie house and she wrote Jacob's House, Lexington in handwriting. Like, Lexington, what are you talking about? They're sending me to a 6-month program with 3 months left to serve. Retarded, right? Why are you doing that? And Mike, you were there. So I get to the Jacob's House and I'm watching the clock. I got a shot waiting on me. I am watching the clock. I ain't buying under this cult you guys are running, this power greater than myself that I got to make up. And it's like a light switch or a doorknob. And just, you guys are fucking delusional. You're crazy. That's what I thought, And so I watched the clock, and I was fortunate enough. And you guys know I don't spend too much in the problem when I tell my story, because I don't know about all you guys, but I'm pretty sure that we all know how to fuck our life up. We're all pretty good at it. I mean, I'm pretty good at that. I can fuck my life up without any help. But the problem is there's a solution to this, and nobody knows the solution, and it's out there. It's out there everywhere, but it takes work. It takes patience. It takes dedication. It takes perseverance. It takes acceptance. It takes honesty, integrity. It takes all these things, courage and hope and faith. It takes all these things that we preach, and most of us don't even know what those words mean. You know what I mean? Most of us don't even know what those words mean. So fortunate enough, when I get the treatment, that a first sponsor I had, dude that run that Tuesday night meeting, I forgot his name, Charlie. He got like 800,000 years sober, true alcoholic. I asked him to be my sponsor. Only asked to be my sponsor, Mike, because I had to have a sponsor. I was going to be put on property restriction. I didn't want no sponsor. I wanted one of them paper sponsors, but I didn't have time to find a paper sponsor because I procrastinate. So I asked this Charlie dude, he's be my sponsor. And he's like, yeah. So he takes me to a meeting. He asked me what my drug of choice was. I'm like, heroin. He's like, well, listen, I'll sponsor you. He's like, but I'm alcoholic with retired military and shit. Dude probably never told a lie in his life. He's like, I'm probably not going to relate to a lot of shit you say, but I'll sponsor you. So I dropped him. And then I'm going to put him on blast. No Sam News. So then I asked Buddha, Stephen Kidwell, to be my sponsor, still is to this day. And and it was the first time in my life that I actually talked to somebody that, I don't know, I don't want to say made sense, but like cared, if that makes sense. He honestly cared in his calm ass Buddha kind of way. Remember, first time he asked me if I did any of my nightly inventory, I said I didn't have none to inventory. He said, well, you're a piece of fucking shit, inventory that. So I got him, and shit kind of changed. I did my thank God I was on the board. Anybody familiar with the board? I was on the board during my 4th step. I had about 40,000 words in a gag order. Couldn't talk. Bullshit, right? Fucking torture. And And that all turned into inventory. And in the process of this, I served out. I got my gold seal in the process of this, which was unexpected, which, and I'm going to touch on this because it's important. First real prayer I ever said in my life. I went on the board on a Friday, and Pickett was my roommate. And I wanted to chain the door shut and burn the building down with Pickett in it. Me and Pickett, I wanted to murder Paul Pickett. He was my roommate. So I go back. I went in famous 2-day communities. If you guys don't know what that is, if you have enough issues and concerns, I had 26. If you have enough issues, it goes to 2-day community. So I go on the board on Friday, and I leave. And when you can't talk about it, it's premeditation. You know, you get discharged. So I remember I'm supposed to serve out 17 days later. I go, you know, back to first real prayer I ever said. Sunday night, I'm supposed to go back on the board Monday. I prayed that God would not give me any more resentments than I already had come Monday. That was my prayer. And my exact words were, sorry about the language. I said, okay, motherfucker, I'll pray to you. I called God a motherfucker. First prayer ever said. And next day, community got canceled. Very funny, God. Didn't get no more resentments. Didn't get any less either, you dick. Answered my prayers to the letter. Exactly what I prayed for. So Tuesday rolls around. I get my gold seal unexpectedly. Then Wednesday comes back around. Now I'm back on the board again. But the difference this time is I don't have to listen to any of it. I don't have to stay. I don't have to write. I don't have to do none of it. I'm free to go. But it was easier to stay for your walk-in, Mike. You know, somehow it was easier to stay when I didn't have to because I know I could leave. So I always got that bullet in the chamber. I can leave if I want to, so I'll stick it out. And, so that was my 4th step, and I went over it with Steven. And he at the time was kind of new in recovery. I think he may have just had a year. And so I learned something about myself. I learned that, every resentment and every fear and every harm that I had in my life was a result of my own actions. Not my fault, but my own actions, my part in it. A lot of it was my fault. Don't get me wrong, but some of it, you didn't. It's just about addressing my part, and I felt better about it. I felt better about certain things. I didn't want to kill Pickett anymore. You know what I mean? I didn't want to murder him. Now we're close buddies. He's my dude now. I love him to death. I have a lot of that with people at the Hope Center. And so I finished. I finished the program, and according to Dave Brown, I was the first person to ever serve out and finish. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he said. And I peer mentored for a year. And then after I peer mentored for a year, I got a job. I never forget it. I thought I got slighted. This is how God works. And whatever you call God, I ain't all biblical, but I have my own higher power, my own conception of whatever. I just know he's there and he listens, whatever it is, it is. Whether it's a dude with a long white beard and a cane, or whether it's whatever, whether it's a fat dude that rubs his belly, whatever you believe in. And I thought I was going to get the head peer mentor position in the MT office, but they gave it to Jason Desarn, right? And I was peer support certified, so I took a job at a Suboxone clinic. And this is where when you think you know a lot about recovery, you learn that you don't know shit about recovery. I called my sponsor. I'm like, man, I don't like this. I can't say taper, and I can't say steps, and I can't talk about getting off Suboxone. I was very limited. And I call my sponsor bitching and venting like I always do. Still do it to this day with the job I have now. I call him, and he's just like, your job's to spread the message, nothing more. So all your job is spread the message. You can't control who gets it, who don't get it. So I took stock in that. And then I, took a job at Liberty Ranch. I'm just going through these jobs because it's leading me to where I'm at. Took a job at Liberty Ranch, and then, which was crazy. And then I had a job at Commitment House, then Stepworks, and then I met Robin then, which is where I'm at now. So that's where I'm at real quick. Here's what I'm going to run through. I don't know how many that are watching have worked steps, Mike. I don't know. It's just my experience. So I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to try and make it easy for people that don't work steps, because there's principles that go with these steps. And I don't care what program you work in. I don't care what you're doing for your recovery. If you don't practice certain principles that apply to every religion, every philosophy, and every plan of recovery, these certain principles apply, integrity, honesty, acceptance, faith, hope, whatever, perseverance, courage. And the first one is acceptance. And this was a problem for me because, step one, the minute we were powerless over alcohol, our lives become unmanageable. That was extremely easy for me to admit that I was powerless over drugs. My legs shake really bad. I get sick. I have diarrhea. I don't care about nothing else. You know, there's two facts when I wake up in the morning. I'm either going to get well or I'm going to go to jail trying. Only two facts that exist in my life. Period. That's the only two facts that exist in my life.
I like that, man. That's powerful. That's plain and simple, bro.
It is. And I mean, you know, the big book talks about if when you start drinking, can you control how much? And when you start drinking, whatever, the two questions they ask. But I ask different questions. When you lay out your bills, if you gotta count your drug habit on which bills you pay and which bills you don't pay, that's the precursor to losing it all. Because I know everybody's done it. Shit, my electric bill's $500. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay $300. I'm gonna pay $300. I'm gonna buy a gram. I'm gonna sell half that gram, get half for free, and then you don't pay the other $200. You just go.
Never do.
and then we, in the delusion, blame the electric company because we already gave them $300. Just crazy, right? So it was easy for me to understand the powerless part, but the unmanageability part was tough for me. The unmanageable part was, I'm only unmanageable because you are not letting me go out past 9 o'clock in treatment. I'm only unmanageable because I got to do these stupid classes 8 hours a day. That's why I'm unmanageable. If you just leave me be, it's my body. If I want to do drugs, I should be able to do drugs. It's my body, right? You should have known. If drugs were legal, I would not be in this situation. If I had more money, I wouldn't be in this situation. None of this is my fault. None of it. It's where the acceptance comes in. The acceptance is very important. You need to accept those two 100%. Only thing you got to accept 100% is that your life is unmanageable and you're powerless over this shit. And the second one is come to believe a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. This is the one that threw me for a loop. This is why I got kicked out of 10-step class, was because of this step. I said, so let me understand this right. You just want me to come to believe in some shit, just make some shit up. And the problem I had is I had people come in there saying principle was faith on step 2. Well, it is for recovery dynamics. People say, oh, look, turn this light off and on. You have faith that this light's coming on. I'm one of the intellectual variety. Faith means believing in something without proof it exists. That's what faith means, right? So people are flipping these lights off and on going, look, you have faith this light. Well, first off, it's not faith because there's all kinds of scientific proof that fucking light's going to come on. And the second thing is, if you expect me to turn my will and my life over to a fucking light switch, you're crazy. You're delusional. So I get that. And then the third one is, turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand him. So now I'm going to make up something and I'm going to turn my life over to the shit I just made up. Didn't get it. So I had to think long and hard about it because I thought I was going to get discharged out there. I think long and hard about it. Faith, to me, the easiest way for me to describe faith is tomorrow. Do you think there's going to be a tomorrow, Mike?
Yeah.
Show me scientific proof.
There is none.
But yet there's going to be a tomorrow. That's what faith looks like to me. There's no proof that there's going to be anything can happen between now and tomorrow. Right. But I am certain that tomorrow's coming.
Yes.
No scientific proof of it, right? So I had to translate this shit into these corny ass, if I drop the book, your faith's going to hit the floor. If I hit the light switch, the lights come on. I'm like, you are fucking, don't dumb it down that much. You're making me dumber, right? So just saying. And I ain't knocking people that use that example, but to me, it threw me off my square. It wasn't my, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to, same class I got kicked out of. Page 130 of the big book. Those who spend any time in the world of spiritual make-believe come to see the childishness of it all. That's the first sentence of the second paragraph. I didn't need to read the rest of that paragraph because all the ammunition I need was packed into that first paragraph. It goes on to talk about, keep your head in the clouds with God and your feet on the ground where your fellow travelers are. But I don't need that. I just need that your book is telling me that if you spend any time in the world of spiritual make-believe, you will come to see the childishness of it all. The problem is all these poor clients that were 10-steppers didn't know how to answer that shit. That's in my book. Yeah, it's in your books right here. It's page 130. And page 77 says to go and talk people you become religious in prize ring. They call that leading with the chin. Yes, now you're leading with the chin with me, and I'm going to throw this other bullshit because I was a dick. That's what I didn't. It was a cult. I didn't believe in any of it, because steps 1, 2, and 3, there's no action. It's the problem is step 1. This is your problem. You're unmanageable and you're powerless. I could break it down more, but we ain't got the time. You're powerless and you're unmanageable is your problem. The solution is step 2. problem solution. And then step 3, you make a decision. All you do in step 3 is say, okay, I'm going to go to step 4, or I'm going to go back to doing the shit I was doing. It's the only thing you're doing. Well, if you make that decision to go to step 4, now it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Now you are going to face some things about yourself that you don't want to face, and you're going to have your sponsor, in my case, Buddha, tell you some things you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear them. I don't want you to tell me that it's my fault that my baby's mom banged my best friend. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that it's my fault that Billy stole my lunch money in 3rd grade. I don't want to hear my part in that. I don't want to hear my part in some shit that some dickhead adult did to me when I was 2 years old. I don't got a part in that, but I do. And I don't want to hear that. That's what the importance of a sponsor is because I can point out all these things about me. But as they say, you can't see your own ears. I can, but most people can't see their own ears. So he's going to point out some shit I don't see, right? And then fifth step, your 3 phases of exposure, your fucking ownership, responsibility, and then freedom. Yourself, God, yourself, another human being. That's why you do it. It loses power over you. And you're I didn't get that. I call it bullshit, but I could be wrong. It's just my experience. I didn't get that overwhelming sense of relief like a big weight lifted off my chest. I got the feeling that I'm a fucking idiot and I just told some stranger my deepest, darkest secrets. He's probably sitting on a bar stool right now talking about what the crazy junkie just told him the night before. I didn't feel good about it, right? I didn't understand it. I just know that I did what I was told. And then we get to 6 and 7. This is where my sponsor's dickheadedness comes in. So my number one character was impatience. So his bright idea is, okay, you can't look at the clock from 8 to 4. What? Whitlock Wednesday run until 4:30 in the afternoon. I can't look at the clock. Horrible. So I would cheat. I'd look at watches and shit. But here's what I noticed. At the end of the 10 days I had to do that, if I looked at the clock, I didn't really care what time I didn't really care how much time was left. I just want to know what time it was. I noticed it was working. I was like, all right, this shit, okay, I'm still impatient as hell, but I'm working on it. I see a difference. And then I get to step 7, Homely has got to remove these shortcomings. Well, I put work in. Look, I've whittled this down, God. Now throw me a little bone. What I didn't do is have my character defects pointed out to me and then say, okay, God, remove them. I didn't do that shit. I put in the work. I noticed, I had a lack of humility, and he give you kudos to my sponsor. I have a lack of humility. He goes, I need you to chair some meetings. I'm like, well, I'm the president of 4. I already chair this. He's like, all right, I need you to give them up. What? Now I got to give up my meetings. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't outsmart him. So then I get to 8, and I get to 9. I have my list, and I made my 4th and 5th step, so I get step 9. And I got to make these amends. So the first amends I made, as many of us do, is I made to my mom. And I'll never forget it. My poor mom had broke her femur, and she was in the hospital. And she's 90 now. She's like 87, 86, something like that. So I go to the hospital. Mom was faded. Mom was fucking high. She was faded. She thought I got there at 7 in the morning. This was like 4 in the afternoon. I said, I'll never forget it. This is to show you guys, when you think your family didn't know what you were doing, you're wrong. I said, Mom, are you high? And this was her response to me. I don't see no burn holes or unfinished projects laying around.
No.
So I went ahead and explained my wrongs the best I could. I pretty much told her that everything you ever think I did, I did. I can't remember all the shit I've done, but and she's like, just keep doing what you're doing, son, and you're good. Here's the problem with that. Sounds easy enough, right? What does that mean, Mike, when someone says, continue doing what you're doing? What does that mean? That means forever.
Yeah.
That means I can't stop. So in order for me to fill my amends to my mom, I got to continue doing what I'm doing, right?
Yep.
The second one was the big one. Well, that was a big one, but the second one was my PO. Okay, when my PO arrested me out of the drogie house the first time, she was a big joint, and I said a lot of mean, hateful things, like bad things that she probably should have pulled the car over and beat me to death. Like, I told her she never got a prom date, and no matter how many times you arrest me, you'll still be a fat single woman. Said some really mean things to her. So I had my daughter drive me from first weekend. Tuesday I had off as a peer mentor. I had my daughter just showed up out of the blue, another God thing. She just showed up, and she drives me to Campbell County. to see my PO, and she was with me. And I remember I walked into PO's office, and I was like, "Is Amy working?" And she sticks her head out the window. She's like, "What do you want?" Like, yeah. And so she comes to the mess. She's like, "Empty your pockets." I'm like, "I'm not here on paper." She's like, "I don't care." Empty your pockets. So I went back and told her. I basically told her that, admitted my wrongs. Told her she saved my life. I said, the work you do goes unnoticed, and I just want you to know that, without you arresting me and sending me to the Jacobs house, I would not be where I'm at. She cried. I cried. My daughter cried. But I got to feel that sense of freedom they talk about. I got to feel that, wow, man, that's just one less thing. Like, my name is Earl. I have one less thing to worry about. So the amends list started, which I'll never finish, obviously, because every time I go back to Northern Kentucky, I see someone else I fucked over at some point or another. So that shit's never going to end. But yeah, so, and I still got my same sponsor. I don't call him nearly as much as I should, but I will call him with any pressing issue I have. Do I do everything I need to do in recovery? Yes. Do I do it as much as I should? No. But I do all the things that are required of me to stay sober. I have, where I work now, and you guys met them. My sponsor, first hooked that situation up. And when I first met him, I was made a lot of promises. And I mean, you come from where we come from, man. We're shit. I'm not, I worked at another place in Nicholasville from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I worked in Somerset. I lived in Lexington, worked from Somerset from 7 a.m. till 1. So I'd get up at 5, drive to Somerset, work till 1, drive to this other job, work till 11, then go home. And I did this for a month, right? And then I started to notice that they were honest. They were honest. They were loving. They were compassionate. They were a different kind of recovery than I was used to. You know what I mean? I'm used to, fuck your feelings. If you don't like it, fucking pack your shit. I was used to that. You know what I mean? Cry about it. I was used to that. I wasn't used to this. And anyway, put me in this house I'm in. I took a job there full time, and they're growing. But yeah, that's kind of rundown, Mike. You take the reins and ask me whatever, because I go a mile a minute, and you told me I got to watch my language, so it keeps me out of a lot of my story.
You done messed that up, but no. And I remember, let's go back to the serve out time. And I remember, when you was getting ready to serve out, and I think me and you kind of talked about it. I'm like, I don't remember the exact conversation, but because a lot of guys that we dealt with, or I used to deal with, I don't know more, as soon as they served out, they're gone, boom. And you see them on Facebook, they're dead, or they caught another charge by the feds or whatnot, whatever. What made Gordy, like, something had to happen, because I was a walk-in, you know what I'm saying? I was homeless, suicidal. I didn't have a choice. My family was done. And, I knew this me was in me, but I had to find me, if that makes sense. Because somebody out there is struggling with this. They're on the fence. They could be on the fence and not know which way to go. But what really happened to show you that recovery was possible? Does that make sense? Like what turned the light on for Gordy?
Well, I can't put my finger on any one thing, but I can put my finger on about 4 or 5 specific things. First one is my mom went from answering the phone, "What do you want?" to "How you doing, son?" And my daughter started calling me dad again instead of father or Gordy. She still calls me Gordy now to be a little shit sometimes, but that started. And the other thing was obviously my sponsor. I believed him. I can't stress to people in recovery that work with other addicts the importance of them believing you. I cannot, because we're extremely judgmental, and we're on guard because we come from a life where I'm going to take you before you take me, but I'm going to act like your best friend until that opportunity comes. Right? So we're on guard, and if I don't believe you, then I'm not going to hear anything you say. But I believed him. I believed him, which is a big deal. And I believed a few people that it turned out to be frauds. I believed a few people that turned out to be frauds. But I believed them. And another thing is what I left out about that whole community thing. On that Tuesday before I went to before I got my gold seal, I sit and talk to dude that was in the Hope Center. He was above me. He was getting ready. Scott C. I'll leave it at that. Did like 18 years in the penitentiary. Tatted up, prison tat. And I knew I served out in 17 days. And I'm so pissed off about the board. I don't want to stay. You know, I could do 17 days standing on my head. 17 days is nothing, especially if I know it's 17 days. That'd be easy to do. So I'm looking around the cafeteria thinking to myself, who would co-sign me leaving? Who would co-sign? All I need is one person, Mike, to say, fuck, I'd be gone. Screw this. You can run for 17 days. So all I need is one person. So I find him. Never really talked to him much other than he worked in the cafeteria other than hi, bye, whatever. So I'm like, that dude. Well, so I went over and sat next to him. I'm like, man, if you served out in 17 days, what would you do? Would you leave? And he said, you ain't going to like my answer. He's like, if you want to be like me, leave. If you want to spend your life in penitentiary, leave. He said, if you don't want to be like me, stay. He goes, but in the meantime, I'm going to take everything I can from you to help me in my recovery. Had this big old conversation for like an hour and a half. And if at the end of this conversation, he kind of scared me. I was just like, you're right. Dude, I'm just going to stick. I'm just going to stay. I shit you not, 10 minutes later, Marcus walked in and said, Gordy, the PO's here. He wants to see you. I walked back to PO, said, Gordy, you served out Friday. I forgot to send your gold seal. So I didn't have to sit through Friday's community. I got my gold seal and I went to community. And of course I had old Dave Brown saying, why are you wasting our time? You're not going to stay. Why are you wasting our time? So I kind of had, I'm going to spite him mentality in there.
Yeah.
And my mom calling me, and then this whole timing of the gold seal, me giving my word. And yeah, it was a bunch of things, but everything was clicking at once. It's like, if you think of a clock, has all these gears in it, right? And the clock runs perfect. Well, if one gear is broken, the time's off. Well, all my gears were clicking, but they'd been broken the previous whatever, however much time it was. They've been previous. And another thing I found out is like, I've used this example before. Have you ever been fishing for catfish with a goldfish?
No.
Well, if you fish for catfish with a goldfish, what catfish do is they scale it. They'll swim around with it in their mouth for 20, 30 minutes, just scaling, getting the scales off of it. Well, that's like recovery. They don't bite. They get to the good meat, but it takes some time. So for the previous 3 months, I was kind of just scaling the goldfish. I didn't get to the meat and potatoes yet, but now I'm getting the meat and potatoes. Family's talking to me again. I'm making friends. My word's good. You know, it's getting better. And I see my friends dying back home and all that. And so it was accumulation of things, but it was in a very short period of time. And call them miracle, definitely miracles. Call them unexplained. People were put in my life, some to die, some to live. You know, and so I can't. But it made me curious. Right. It made me get to the point where, okay, I'll give it one more day because it's working now. But I was waiting for it to fail me. I was waiting for shit to go bad so I could be right. Like, okay, I'll work step 7 because the other 6 have worked so well, but let it flaw up one time and I'm out of here. Yeah. It just never happened. It just kept, I don't want to say better. It just kept getting richer. Life just kept getting more enriched. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And because I remember when a light came on, man, like I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm not going to glorify Gordy, but you know, you would calm down a little bit, bro, for real. Like, and you question the weather. If they say it's going to rain, you want to know how much. I know you, but I remember when the light come on, and I think me and you started talking more than we usually did because you didn't like me really, but you didn't know me. But I always believed in you from the rip, but I knew that your smartness and intelligence might get you in trouble. I had faith in you. And, it just to see you where you're at today, you know what I'm saying? And, just like when you got me into the jail speaking for the first time, you know what I'm saying? And like the book even talks about, like me and you wouldn't mix on the street. You know what I'm saying? We're two different people. I'm prettier, you're uglier, you know what I'm saying? But
you're fatter.
And today, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're one of my real, real good friends. And every time I call, you're always there, man. But I want to thank you for inviting me. Actually, you took me into my jail for the first time to speak and opened up a huge door for me of what I'm doing in here in Richmond and in my hometown of London. You know what I'm saying? And, I owe you a thank you for that, because if you hadn't invited me into that jail, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's a funny story because my sponsor, I was teaching recovery dynamics at Liberty Ranch, and they needed a manager. So I hooked my sponsor up with him, and he took that job, and he couldn't go to the jails no more. So he kind of suggested, but he kidnapped me and took me to the jail. I said, you got to do this shit now. And so I started going to the jail. And then, then you came with me the last week I did it. Then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then they laid him off at that job because of COVID. And then they hired me at that job after he got another job, and it just come full circle.
Yeah.
And it's recovery's crazy because let me tell you something about Mike. I needed an apartment when I got my first job out of treatment. And Lexington, anybody knows anything about Lexington, if you're a convicted felon or you got bad credits, you're living in the ghetto, and that's just the way it is. Period. You're living on the corner of crack and heroin. That's where you got to move. And I didn't want to do that. I lived in a sober living apartment that the Hope Center owned, but I had a girlfriend, and she stayed there for like 7 months, like everybody's girlfriend did. But eventually it came to a head, and I wanted to move out. Well, I couldn't move out. Well, Mike lived at a place called the Mansion across from the Fayette Mall on the shittiest road in Lexington because the traffic's so bad, but it's a nice area. And the apartments were nice. And he put in a word for me with the manager. Hey, man, give a dude a chance. And I guess it's Mike had done everything he was supposed to do. They gave me a chance, but here's the problem. My credit was shit. I mean, my credit score is like 1, 2 now. But my credit score is like 1 at the time. So I couldn't get in these apartments. So I called my sister. Now, my sister lives in Tennessee, and she is retired military, plus she's an artist, and her husband's, they're well off. They've invested their money good. And the last thing my sister had said to me, basically at my dad's funeral, was drugs be an end for me. It was basically the last thing I heard her say, not to me, but I overheard it. It might was either her or my other sister. Anyway, so my mom don't have the bank account to co-sign, because these people wanted $54,000 in your savings to sign for me because of whatever, I might damage it. So I called my sister and I explained to her my situation, called my sponsor first, and he's like, what can it hurt to ask? So I called my sister and I explained the situation. I'm like, look, I don't want to live in these areas. And she's just like, sure, I got you.
Yeah.
Put the money up for me. Made me cry.
I remember that.
Put the money up for me. Yeah. When she went through all kinds of hoops, she had to put her husband's name and my name, which means I had to talk to him. They just put the money up. And sure, they knew that it was maybe they didn't know it was a gamble, but they had to in the back of their mind. You know what? They gave me a chance. And and it's what recovery looks like. And I didn't, we're miracles. Anybody that's in recovery, we're miracles. And for those of you guys that are on here that got little time in recovery, when I used to hear that serenity prayer and they would say just for today, I literally would think to myself, just 5 more minutes, man. Just 5 more minutes. Just give me to tomorrow. Just give me tomorrow. Not sleeping a wink, just kicking dope while I was there. It was just the worst thing ever. And then I'd hear people like Mike talk celebrating a year or 2 years, and I'd be like, man, it might as well be 5 million years. That shit is just crazy. I remember getting to 30 days and the 90 days and all that stuff. And now the funny thing about it is I celebrate 5 years, September 21st. And the first year is a big deal, right? That's like getting your driver's license. Like I went a whole, 365 rotations of the sun. I haven't used it. But then the second year and the third year, it's kind of like it's more humbling than anything, because now I feel like I'm getting congratulated for some shit I should have been doing all along. And it's humbling. So like, stick it out, man. I mean, there's no easy way to do it. There's no easy route. There's no magic pill, but there definitely, without question, is a solution. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the steps. There's many pathways to recovery. And you just got to find one. But when you find one, you can't be content prior to investigation, as the big book says. A lot of people say, oh, the steps won't work for me, but they never even opened the big book before. A lot of people say Christianity won't work for me, but never read the Bible. That's what we do. If I don't understand something by nature, I don't think it works. I don't think it works. You know what I mean? I drive a Ford, so I don't like Chevys. I don't know nothing about them. It doesn't matter. And so just give it a try before you, what did he say after the first year? Something about you. Yep. See, Buddha talking. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so just stick it out, man. And there's help. There's a solution to this. There is a solution. And until you get to causes and conditions and attitudes and behaviors which cause you to do this in the first place, unaddressed behaviors are doomed to repeat themselves. It's going to happen over and over and over and over again. That is why any of you guys that have been arrested before, I know I have been in jail and I have swore off drugs and alcohol altogether. I am going to get out of here. I'm going to be a father, get a job, and be a good son. And I'm high before I leave the parking lot. Why? Because nothing's changed except the drugs have been taken out of the system. I'm still hustling the guards. I'm still lying to my mom. I'm still manipulating I'm still alcoholic, horse thief, quits drinking. He's still horse thief, right?
Yeah.
It's the truth. So until you get to these causes and conditions and these things that have turned to core beliefs that we have that are just bullshit, men don't cry, or women's jobs at home to wait on the man, or all women are whatever. It's not the case, but we get these core beliefs developed us. And then when we do our inventory, we start to realize, no, that's not how things are. That's just how my perceptions shows things. And what are perceptions, Mike?
Perception?
Myself, I believe others view me, and how I view the world.
Yeah, it's us.
And that's what it is. But shut up, Squirt.
Well, listen, Gordy, we got a few minutes here, but I'm proud of you, bro, and I always support you. But what does Gordy do? How does Gordy get his day started besides smoking a cigarette?
Well, I get up early and I watch porn. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to get a dig in there. No, like I said, I work for a company that is nothing like I've ever seen in my life. And I've worked in a lot of places. I've been around a lot of recovery in a lot of different areas. And I mean, if anybody watched Emily's podcast, I truly feel like family when I go to work. I used to have the owners in the office next to me, but they've moved on to bigger and better things. Now I'm by myself. But yeah, I go into work and we have clients that are struggling with substance use, and some of them are excelling. Some of them are having trouble, and we just need to be there. You know what I mean? That's why I have my mugshots hanging up in my office, because what my wonderful owners don't understand is that holds more credibility to an addict than anything, is when they see what you look like and what you're like now. Okay, he knows how you do that, but you just got to be there. I look at peer support as the bridge to the professionals. I look at us as the bridge to the professionals, because I can tell you firsthand, my bosses, our owners, and our clinical director got more knowledge than you could possibly imagine. You know what I mean? Way more than I do. So we got to merge that experience with the clinical staff, and I think that's where peer support comes in. You know what I mean? Yeah. They can tell you how your brain works, but when you're struggling in early recovery, you don't care about none of that. Just make it stop. Just make it stop. I don't care why it's doing it. Just make it stop. And over time, you bridge that gap. You know what I mean? And you see little goals. It doesn't matter how petty the goal is to the early recovery person. It's a huge deal. It's huge. It's huge to get your driver's license when you had a driver's license in 5 years. To us, it's like big deal. I've had my driver, but think about when you didn't. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? It's a big deal to get visitation to your kids you ain't seen in 5 years. That's a big deal. Doesn't seem like it to the average person, but that's huge. To that, you know what I mean? To the addict who still suffers.
And when you said that, like, I remember my last vehicle. I was down to my last vehicle. I lost my license for a DUI. And I just thought my world was over. You know what I'm saying? I think I traded the last vehicle for some dope and some money. But when I completed treatment, man, I knew I had to get my license back, and I was scared. I failed the eye test and this and that. But then, my wife, my girlfriend at the time, Marie, she said, you need to get your GED. And I ain't been to school, dude. I dropped out when I was 18, never looked back. And I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, you know what I'm saying? But my wife pushed me to get my GED, man. When I passed it, it took me a little bit of time, don't get me wrong. But, she's like, Mike, you need your GED in case, something was to happen later on in life. And I remember sitting in the floor at the mansion when we lived in that 2-bedroom apartment. You lived behind me, and they sent me that email, dude, and they said that I received my GED, dude, and I cried. You hear me? Like that was a big a huge success, and it's right here on my wall. You know what I'm saying? I look at it every morning when I wake up. But it's the little things in life to be grateful for, because normal people has driver's license. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
something just like insurance, just like, electric bills. Back to the core beliefs you was talking about. Like I was always taught, never put the vehicle in your name, put it in somebody else's name. Put the insurance in somebody else's name. Don't have a cell phone in your name. Don't have. We couldn't even get electric in our name back in the day. And today, all those core beliefs are gone now. Me being taught that, I can't be mad at the people, but that's how they was raised up. That's how they was brought up. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to me to change that, to break the cycle or break the chains, whatever you want to call it, whatever program you work. But like my kids today, that I don't teach my kids like a woman's supposed to cook, clean, take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not going to teach my kids that men are not supposed to cry, because I know when I cry, I feel better when I get done. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us to get the information about the core beliefs we was taught. A bank account. Who has you got a bank account now, Gordy?
Yeah, Rob made
Yeah,
me.
I know. But see, I never had a bank account because I was taught never to have a bank account. Carry cash money. You know what I mean? And through this process, man, I see things different. And am I perfect? No. My wife, she's perfect. But the point of the matter is, man, we got to let go of everything we was taught, because everything we was taught, some of that is lies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
There's a quote. I mean, there's two quotes that stand out to me in recovery. The first one is nobody remembers what you said, or nobody remembers what you did, but they always remember how you made them feel. And the second one is what you're talking about, these core beliefs. Is the first one's Maya Angelou. I don't know who the second one is, but the second one is pain is passed down from generation to generation until somebody stops to feel it. And that's where these core beliefs come in. We stop to feel it, whether that means doing all these things you're talking about, because it's not comfortable. It's not my comfort zone to do certain things. It's my normal instinct. Even today, when a cop is behind me, I start looking around my car. It is just, you know what I mean? I try to fix it, and I laugh about it, thinking, oh, he's not going to find nothing. Oh, shit. This is a used car. What if they stash drugs up under the?
yeah.
You know what I mean, I did. When a cop gets behind me, I get nervous, and there's no reason for it. I even joke with them now. When they pull me over, I ask them if they sure you don't want to search it, or are you sure you don't want to run my license again? Because it's, but that's just where my adrenaline goes, because I've trained myself from age of 16 on that cops are bad. Cops mean bad news. So yeah, but we can break them. That's what we're talking about, the attitudes and behaviors and core beliefs, and all that. They need to change, and they cannot change without practice. They cannot change without opposite behaviors. They can't. Yeah. If you are impatient, you need to practice patience. If you are dishonest, you need to practice honesty. If you are an adulterer, you need to practice celibacy. Whatever, you need opposite behaviors. It needs to be done. And if you don't do them, how are you going to counteract? It's not about, I did this many bad things, I'm going to do that. Scale don't work. I did this many bad things, so I'm going to do this many good things. It's a sliding scale. It slides to the middle. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect, but you're going to balance it out in the middle. You're going to do a little less bad things and a little more good things, but you're not going to do no. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how the balance is. But at the end of the day, a clear conscience is the best pillow. If you go to bed at night believing that, you know what, the world's a better place because I was in it. It's a little arrogant, but I go to bed like that sometimes, Well,
listen, bro, I love you, man. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I will see you, the 21st of next month, maybe?
Yeah, you got to share my birthday.
5 year, and that's huge, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember my 5 years, man. It was a huge, it's a huge accomplishment, man. Because I was doubted, but it's not about that. But listen, I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. We're gonna exit out of here. Give us a hope shot before we close out, bro.
Give you a hope shot.
Hope shot.
Oh, hope shot. All right, give you a hope shot. All right, I'll give you a hope shot. My dad passed away when I was locked up. Never got to say goodbye to him because I couldn't stop using. And I stole and I pawned. My dad's a professional golfer. I stole and I pawned a lot of things. And recently, as my coworkers know, his memorabilia has been popping up on eBay, and I've been buying it as I see it. I've been buying all this memorabilia I can buy back of my dad that And I ain't gonna get all teared up and shit. But yeah, I just got one in the mail today. I got a picture that I bought off eBay. I bought a scorecard off of him and Arnold Palmer on a scorecard together. It was sold on eBay, and I'm buying it up as I see it. And it's just I never seen that shit before till now. And now I'm in a situation where I can buy it as it comes. You know what I mean? And I know it's I don't know if that's kind of host shot you're looking for, but it's just, Emily sent me she's such an asshole. Emily sent me a text tonight that said, before I came on, it said, your dad said your dad is watching over you. Yeah. So it's real.
Your dad's proud of you, bro. For real.
Yep.
I love you, man.
Love you too, buddy.
I love you. I'm proud of you, bro.
Appreciate it, Mike.
I love you, bro.
Yeah, love you too. Love all my Protea family too. I see over there, except Rob.
Yeah, well, we're going to can you see the comments there?
Yeah, some of them.
Give a shout out there to a few before we close out, bro.
Hey, Teresa, Amy. Hey, Dalton, what's up? Emily, love you. Rob, you already know.
Rob's probably eating right now.
Right. Irvin's there. Marie, sorry about your luck. Kashande, I remember her. Steven, my sponsor. Yeah, he's my dude. Kid Buddha. He hates when I say that. Whitney, she's a little one. She's a little tiny chick. Yeah. David Eggers, Egghead. Finally got it together, buddy. He's the most motivated, lazy person I ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Chris Burchett. Hey, is that Smiley?
Smiley, yeah.
Smiley. I remember hearing his lead. Yeah. How's he doing? Good, I hope.
He's doing good.
Brittany. Yeah. All you guys, man.
Well, listen, we're going to close out, Gordy. I love you. It's past 10 o'clock. My kids are in here waiting on me, man. I love you, and I'll see you here soon, okay?
All right, buddy. Love you too, Mike. Thanks.
See you, brother. Powerful message, man. If you don't know Gordy, man, Gordy goes way back. Gordy was a mess when I met him, and today, he got a little emotional, man. I don't think I've ever seen Gordy get emotional, man. That's the beauty of recovery, man. We feel our feelings, man. Shout out to Protea Behavior Health and Counseling, Terry, Amy, Rob Fields, Kidwell, Steve Smith, David Eggers, DeZarn, just everybody, man, on here, dude. I'm just a messenger, man, and this platform is not about me, man. It's about the people I bring on here to share hope. And I don't do this for me, man, but hit that share button, man. Get this out there, man. People struggling. People's going to put a needle in their arm tonight. Maybe something Gordy said they can relate to. Gordy's got a mouth, but Gordy's real. Gordy's real. His story's real, and he don't sugarcoat nothing, man. But help's available, man. We have beds unlimited through Protea Behavior Health and Counseling. My number is 859-300-1503. My wife's number is 859-319-4787. It's just an amazing group, man. Amazing group of people. I can't find words to put on it, man. When you meet people and like I clicked with this dude and he's me and I'm him, but I'm prettier than he is and he eats more than I do. But there's help available, man. If you're out there struggling, man, reach out to me and my wife. Anybody needs comments, man. Matt Allen, Irvin Southwood, Terry Rust, Smiley. Chris Agee. I hope I said that right. David Eggers, Stephen Kidwell, man. There's so many people that's willing to help you, man. All you gotta do is say is I need help. We're gonna close this out, man. I love you all. I will see you all next week, as long as nothing don't come up. We got a lot of stuff going on. The Jasmine's House Recovery Home for Women. It's popping off. We're doing good things here in Richmond, man. But I love y'all, man. Let's have a good night. See y'all.
You ain't got cold chills, something's wrong with you. Gotta know it. You in the wrong building. Nowhere to turn.
I could really use a friend right now. Yeah, I just need a friend. I'm staring at my window pane. I'm staring at my window pane. I could use a friend. I could use a friend. I just need a friend right now. Right now. I'm staring at my window pane.
I'm counting raindrops to him. Play with my ride or dies, it's like I was dead to him. This is my window.